And here we are. We are live, apparently. That's what it looks like. Happy Topic Tuesday. And, what are we doing today? Our topic today is what is in your project queue. I have a whole bunch of stuff in my project queue to talk about. So, just to keep things going and to wait for people to come in, I'll just go through my normal weekly schedule. Today is Tuesday. I do a topic Tuesday every week at this time, 2 o'clock Eastern. Wednesday, I do a Wednesday free for all at 6 p.m. Eastern, immediately following Granny D. Thursday, I usually don't have anything. Friday, hey Gloria. Friday, it will either be a live or a recorded. Um, there's no telling. Saturdays, I usually don't do anything. Sundays, I have Sunday readings, which will either be live or recorded. This coming Sunday, it's going to be recorded because, well, I've already uploaded and scheduled it for one thing, and also for another. This coming Sunday, the 13th, I'm doing a marathon starting at 2 p.m. Eastern because it is the 20th anniversary of my bariatric surgery, and it's also the day before Valentine's Day. Mondays, I usually have a Monday Men interview, which is almost always going to be something new. I have been doing all through January. I did reruns because it's hard to schedule people in January. I hope I will have something new for this coming Monday. I don't know yet, but I've approached a few people. And then we're back at next Tuesday. So here we are. And just as an icebreaker, what's on your hook, what's in your cup, that sort of thing. I don't know where everybody is, but if it's lunchtime or you've already had your lunch, what was or is for lunch? I had some lovely frozen coconut shrimp that we got from Costco. They lured me in with their samples because the samples were just delicious. And it actually worked out really well with the air fryer. I'm really pleased with the air fryer that we got just after Christmas. That was sort of my from me to us gift for Christmas. And I've been enjoying using it. So everybody else, tell me what's going on. So usually, so on these Topic Tuesdays, we start at 2 o'clock. It takes a little while for people to gather, and that's okay. We just have icebreaker discussions. Our topic today is what is in your project queue? Hey, Cuppy. Glad to see you. Your breakfast is coffee so far. Hi, Divergent. Glad to see you. So yeah, I wouldn't mind the coffee, although I've got some soda here on my cup. Hey, Amy Long. Don't believe I've seen you before, but you're welcome. Anyway, so here we are. What's going on, everybody? Tell me everything. So I have several whips going on that honestly, winter is a low energy period for me always. Sometimes it gets very, very dark for me in winter. It's not that way right now, but I'm not as inspired as I often am at other parts of the year. I have a few whips going on. I'm not really that excited about any of them. So what I do is I just pick up yarn and a hook and see what I can do with it. So right now in my lap, I have a baby blanket I've been working on just to get through some yarn. Yesterday, I picked up some blue yarn and a hook, and I made this little hat with it, which actually I think turned out well. I think it's a nice hat. It's for, because it's blue, it's for Hat Not Hate. Toss it across the room to my Hat Not Hate box. Cuppy is trying her best to work on a cow. Never done a cow before. I've never done a cow before myself. Hey, Maureen. Oh, God. It's a nice blue color, isn't it? Let me see. Well, I can't quite reach the band right now, but it's a nice blue color. Um, and the good thing about Hat Not Hate is as long as it's blue, it's good. And because it's all hats and because it's all for donation, I use, frankly, I use cheap yarn. That doesn't mean it's going to be yarn that is harsh to the touch, because there's a lot of cheap yarn that is not harsh at all, that feels very nice to the touch. Hey, Roberta. And for Hat Not Hate, Hat Not Hate is a big thing for me. If for people who do not know about Hat Not Hate, let me just see if I can remember the cue for. Oops, that's not exactly what I wanted to do. If I can remember the cue for Nightbot to give you the Hat Not Hate link. Let's see. Hey, Gabby. Let's see. Okay, if that cue doesn't produce something successful, then it's just hatnothate.org. And it's also in my Linktree page. But their purpose is to combat bullying, and blue is recognized as an anti-bullying color. They go out into schools at every age level. They do presentations adapted for every age level. They give away hats as part of the presentation. And there are lots and lots of people who need the hats, whether it's because of bullying or whether they need hats, period. So it's always a good thing to do. So I tend to do them, I think it's like August 31st or September 1st, or at least last year, that's what it was, the deadline. So I tend to do them all year long and see how many I can do. Last year I sent them 85 hats and I felt like it wasn't enough. Because I know people who sent hundreds. At the same time, I'm also working on a project that is really not organized in any way. I'm just encouraging people to make blankets and pet sweaters and donate them to pet rescue organizations. There is no kind of reporting, there is no kind of accountability, there is no reward, there is no prize. But if you do it because I have encouraged you to do it, please tell me that, because I would love to know that. Otherwise, it's really an encouragement project more than anything else. Hey, GGP. Okay, let's see. Okay, Nightbot just gave you the link to my Linktree page, which has every link, including, I hope it has the Hat Not Hate page. It should. In addition to that, a good friend of mine is organizing knit along, crochet along projects all year long as part of his AIDS-related fundraising drive. It's called the End AIDS Cal, KAL/CAL. And Nightbot will give you that link as well. And for the first quarter of this year, which is what we're in right now, my Alicia shawl, which is actually my best-selling pattern on Ravelry, is the crochet pattern. So if you do not have it already, I would encourage you to look, well, wait for the Nightbot link, and then look for the Ravelry page. There's a Ravelry group for the cow. If you do not have the pattern already, then I would encourage you to go and get the pattern, because a substantial part of the pattern sales are going to be donated to his fundraising cause. If you do have the pattern already, but you want to support anyway, you can support the yarn dyers, or you can make a cash donation. Okay. Okay, I just now put the link for Hat Not Hate. It's hatnothate.org. If it doesn't show up there, then just do a Google search for Hat Not Hate. It's really easy. You don't even have to call up Google. Just put it in your URL bar at the top of your browser page. Just put the phrase Hat Not Hate. You don't even have to put quotes around it. Put Hat Not Hate. You'll get search results. Let's see what else is going on. I need you people to kick me in the butt and get some unpublished patterns published, because I have them almost ready to put on Ravelry, and I just haven't done them yet. So kick me in the butt. I need it bad. Not because I like to be kicked in the butt, but because I need to be driven. Because, as I say, winter is a low energy period for me always. Divergent, you had bullies as a kid. Hey, Joyce Chapman. Glad to see you. Let's see. Oh my goodness, we have 13 people here. Isn't that cool? Well, so our topic today is what is in your project queue. So I guess that includes any whips that you're working on, plus anything you want to work on in the future. So I came up with an idea earlier today about some things I want to do on YouTube. I actually came up with a couple of ideas, and my mistake was not writing them down. It's always my mistake, not writing them down. I have some design ideas that I'm like in the middle of. A couple of sweaters. Um, then I'll go back to the shawls that I always do because me and shawls. And then, so as far as YouTube content, I think I'm gonna do my best to stay consistent with YouTube content and YouTube scheduling. Last week I canceled Wednesday because I really felt awful all day long. And then I missed it the whole rest of the week, and the whole rest of the week felt off. So even if I don't feel well physically, I'm going to try to keep consistent with the YouTube scheduling. So that includes new content for the Monday Men, lots of lives, because I love to do lives. I think my favorite things to do are the lives and the Monday Men. I really love doing the Monday Men because I meet the most interesting people and have the most fascinating conversations with them. And I hope that every last one of them turns out to be a long-term friend. Maureen is working on a birthday card for your granddaughter. How involved is that, Maureen? And Amy Long is doing a blanket for her niece for her birthday. Oh, dry nails are important, Divergent. Now, my problem is, I think it's a symptom of like iron deficient anemia, where my nails get very flaky. And so it's hard to keep them smooth. And so sometimes they snag on the yarn. So I have emery boards right here beside me. Some of them are branded with, are like labeled with, that's not it. I think this is the one. Yeah, this one has, this is a tiny emery board that has the name of a fiber shop on it. If you have a fiber shop, that is a really great branding idea for a gift, something to throw into a purchase bag or an order. 2, 4, 6. I don't know. What else? Oh, you have 7 beanie hats done, Gloria. And you're going to work on scarves. Hey, Sheila. Something to crochet for your granddaughter is having a baby. Baby blankets are a great way to start. Take any cake of Lion Brand Mandala, which is perfect in weight and texture and feel, and it's also washable. And just create something like this. This is the Which Way Filet. Fiber Spider does an excellent tutorial on this, although I transcribed it. I wrote it out for him. He says he would not allow me to publish it, or refuse to publish it himself, because he says it's not his own idea. He just did the tutorial based on photos that he had seen. But I have done so many blankets like this based on the Fiber Spider Which Way Fillet tutorial. And if you are new to Fiber Spider, go and visit him and tell him I sent you. He is just amazing in so many ways. Oh, hey, Layla and Mia, and I can never remember your real name. Cuppy likes the idea of the small emery boards. Oh, believe you me, it's not my idea. I'm just sharing something that somebody else did. Arnie, yes, okay, yeah, I'm bad with names. I'm lucky I can remember my own most days. Um, Divergent, a blanket, a car seat cover, booties, and burp clothes. Are you talking about the baby ideas for uh, someone above? Okay, Sheila was the one who was asking about baby ideas. You can never go wrong with baby blankets. There are never too many baby blankets. Do you guys remember? It was, 6 months ago, probably longer. There was a time when our community was experiencing a lot of sadness. There was a lot of loss going on. And there was someone I watch regularly who announced that he and his wife were expecting their first baby. He had just announced it that one day. So I immediately picked up a hook and some yarn. And you can't see me doing this, a hook and some yarn. And and started making a blanket for them. Um, and that just that news just cheered me up. And then in my live that day, I shared that news, and it seemed to cheer a lot of people up too. So it was lovely. So now he is, although he's not a yarn person, he is an honorary part of our community. His channel is Mr. H and Friends. He's a British guy. I think he lives in Bristol. I'm probably wrong about that. Anyway, he's a British guy who does reaction videos to American videos, because he loves everything American. So I sent him the blanket. Well, about 3, almost 4 weeks ago, they had their baby. And she's the cutest little thing you've ever seen, and so perfect. And she looks so adorable in the blanket that I sent. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's wonderful. Um so I am immensely thankful for this community, not only for the way we interact with each other, but the way that we reach out to other people who are not yarn people. It's okay that they're not yarn people. We can fix that in time. But, you know, um, I mean, he is really a perfectly, perfectly lovely and sweet guy. The baby is adorable. His wife, I mean, mom and baby are both really, really doing well, which is the best news you could ever have. I completely agree, Maureen. So, yeah, and I've reached out to people I follow in other different sorts of areas. There's an automotive guy in New Jersey, and they've had a lot of winter weather. Hey, Amy Long. Um, Cuppy, that does not surprise me a bit. The farming, the homestead type of people. I mean, I think there is a popular image or stereotype about homesteaders that might not be true, but it does not surprise me to learn that as a whole they are warming and welcoming people, because that's what you do when you live in the country. You welcome any stranger, because otherwise that stranger's gonna die. I mean, there are so many old, ancient tales where your duty to a stranger who comes to your door and asks for help supersedes your duty to anything else. Say a stranger comes to your door seeking help, you welcome him in. He is now a guest in your house. Then you learn that because of his lineage, that you and he are supposed to be mortal enemies. That doesn't matter, because he is a stranger you have welcomed into your house. I mean, I can't think of how many times that shows up. I'm sure it shows up in the Bible. It shows up in ancient mythology. It shows up a lot in opera stories, I'll tell you that. So that is what you do. You help people. That's what we're supposed to do as people, is to help other people. And oh, Divergent says she can't wait to crochet for babies once she knows someone is expecting. Start now. That's what I would say. Start now. Oh gosh, I don't remember who it was. I have a pattern. It was a free download, I think from Lion Brand. I don't remember exactly. It might have been from Yarn Inspirations, but I don't know. A Lion Brand. It's a pattern, a hat pattern that can be sized from preemie size up to adult XL. And it gives you instructions for every different size. So if anybody wants that download pattern, it was a free download. If it was not free, I would not share it, because I respect people who sell patterns. Because I sell patterns too. Um, but it was a free pattern. Oh, Amy Long, that sounds like a great idea. Actually, oops. Oof. Ha. Yeah. The sleeve of my sweater just stuck to a little spot of sauce on my notepad here. Um, I once met someone who told me it was in New York, but she had come from somewhere in Europe. I don't remember where. She said that as she grew up, she had grown up with her grandmother, and every day her grandmother was knitting or crocheting something. She never saw the end result. Um, but then when she herself got married, she was presented with a trunk full of the end results: blankets, tablecloths, all sorts of things like that. So it's the sort of thing that you do. I mean, if you're not doing something for yourself or something specific for another person, if you have to have a hook in your hand all the time, which I do, then it's going to be something. So yeah, um, there's lots of stuff you can do. I mean, as far as the topic today was supposed to be what's in your project queue, but we never stick to the topic. You all know that already. Um, we never stick to the topic. But as far as things that we do, there are so many things to do. And I have some things I really want to complete, and I really need to get them done and get them published. Because, I create good stuff. I believe that. And I think other people believe it too. But right now, it's just hard to get the motivation to complete the things that I have ready to complete. So I'm doing hats and scarves and things. Actually, I've shown this before. This was going to be a second sample of a shawl. I haven't published this shawl yet either. This is Tunisian mesh stitch, but it's a one hank wonder. A lot of my shawls, if you only have one hank, can turn into a nice cowl or neck wrap like that. Otherwise, it can make a nice shawl. Oh, Divergent. Your kids don't want kids. They say that today. Give them 5 or 10 years. Or let a child fall into their lives unexpectedly. They'll change their tunes. So, to needle tat. Oh gosh. And dye yarn. I have never dyed yarn. I have a hank of undyed yarn that I just honestly, I'm scared to ruin it. I would send it to a dyer and say, please do something with it and send it back before I would risk ruining it. Oh, look how awful my hair looks because I had a nap and I need a haircut. That's the problem. But and a year or two ago, when I was staying in Texas with a friend of mine, I presented a friend with um, an easy crochet shawl. It was like um, double crochet lattice work. You could do it up in a day. And she was so thrilled with it. She came back to me the next day and presented me with some artifacts that she had been holding on to that had belonged to her grandmother, including like a tatting needle. I don't even know how that works, so I don't know exactly what it is, that sort of thing. But she was thrilled to present those things to me, and I was thrilled to receive them, and thrilled that it meant so much to her to share them with me. I mean, that's the thing about this sort of work that we do. It's it's more than work with our hands. It's work with every bit of us, with our hearts and souls and minds. I mean, a machine. I don't know that there are machines that can crochet. I know there are machines that can knit, but you know, this stuff can be done without thinking about it very easily by people paid a lot less than minimum wage in sweat rooms in Southeast Asia, or they can be done by us with a lot of intent, and the intent goes along with it. So, and I'm not even going to get into the topic uh, of selling, because I don't sell my stuff. I I give it away, really. Um, but at the same time, it's it's more than our hands. It really is. So, what do y'all have to say to that? I honestly, dying is something that intimidates me. I would like to learn it. I should probably. You can probably hear me better now, right? Because the microphone is attached to these earbuds. Um, and hey, Maribel, glad to see you. Anyway, let's see what's going on here. I'm posting the link if anybody wants to come up and join me. Divergent, I think that's completely appropriate. If you think about the price of the yarn, especially if you're using very nice yarn, and the amount of time that you put into it, Um, and your time, you have to value your time more than the time of a data entry clerk. And I do not want to disvalue um, what a data entry clerk does. But the level of skill for a data entry clerk is very different from the level of skill for what we're doing. And a data entry clerk is lucky to get 20 bucks an hour. Excuse me just a minute. I'm going to plug my phone in. Um, so, yeah, our time is worth a bunch. The best value, when I was working as an IT tech consultant, I was getting 65 bucks an hour, and there were lots of people getting a bunch more than that because they had higher levels of skill or different levels of skill and experience than what I offered. I was happy with 65 bucks an hour at that time. I'd be happy with it now. I'd be delirious with it now. But uh so if I were to value something that I create based on the amount of time that goes into it, which would include the planning and also the materials, um, I wouldn't go any less than that, you know? I think, and if it's premium materials, if they want, super duper yarn, they're going to pay super duper prices. Yeah. Cuppy, I got a 1099 the other day that showed that I had made just enough that I have to file it with the IRS this year. So I'm going to wait until I have all of my 1099s because, I make a little bit from Ravelry, a little bit from Etsy, a little bit from, uh, well, I did. I was making a little bit from Etsy. I'm no longer using Etsy, but I was. I make money from Google through YouTube. Um, so I'm waiting until I get all of my 1099s because believe you me, I have enough expenses to totally obliterate all of that income. But if I can show that I have earned income, which those 1099s show, that is greater than zero, I might be eligible for an earned income tax credit that is refundable. I don't know what the rules are this year. They change every year. I used to do taxes for a living, actually, many, many years ago. I used to do it for a living. Um, I was surprised last year to learn what I was eligible for in terms of an earned income tax credit. Um, so if I can show that I have an income that is greater than zero, and believe you me, I can make it look that way, but still not enough to be taxed on it, then I might be eligible for some kind of an earned income refundable tax credit. It's true, Cuppy. It's true. Actually, I recently found out that I was eligible for, because my income is very low, that I was eligible for healthcare coverage that is pretty much totally free because there is some sort of a tax credit that covers the premium for it. So I got a bill that said, "This is your monthly premium," which was a horrifying amount. And then it said, "This is the amount that is covered by the refundable tax credit," or whatever it's called. So the amount due on that bill was $0, was absolutely nothing. And I'm going, I'll take that. Yeah. And, between um, YouTube and Ravelry, I can pay for additional coverage for dental because I need that as well. So Divergent, actually, that's how I got started with H&R Block. I did it for years and years. My parents did it when we were growing up. That's one reason why winter is a bad period for me, is because they were always absent, uh, working part time for H&R Block. Um, but um, that's how I got started doing taxes, is through H&R Block. Um, and I worked for several years on a seasonal basis. Um, I was doing quality control. I was in Florida, which at that time, I don't know if it's still that way, did not have a state income tax, but so many people came from so many other different states, either for either as sunbirds or part-time residents, um, that I would wind I learned like 25 different state tax returns, and at that time they were not computerized. Um, I learned a lot. I've thought about going back to them. It's probably a little late to do it this season, although I might call them up and find out. Um, but you never know. You never know. But the thing about working with a franchise like H&R Block is, usually you can put as much or as little time as you want to into it. It's always going to be a part-time job. Um, Usually it's not going to be enough time to actually qualify you for unemployment. But at the same time, it's not a bad gig. You meet people. Oh, Divergent, you got to go and pick up the kid. Have fun. Safe driving. Actually, I need to see what I can do about all of my different 1099s, because I do have a lot of expenses that I could zero out that all of that income instantly if I wanted to. But if I show some kind of income, just under enough to be taxed on it, then that'll be okay. Because basically, right now, I'm living off, you might call it savings that are really that are dwindling a lot faster than I would like. Okay, there's the link again if anybody wants to come up. How are we doing for thumbs? I see that we have 18 people in the room right now. Cuppy, internet and phone is a tricky business unless you have uh, separate accounts that are specifically for business. I used to have two cell phones, one which was specifically business only, and one which was personal. Um, that was easy. And it's the same thing with home office expense. It's a very tricky business um, because that's the sort of thing that the IRS is on the lookout because it's very easy for people to falsify claims there. So they're always looking for anything that looks suspicious. So as far as the phone expense, I don't even bother. Internet, I don't even bother. Hey, Amy. Amy, I have some dishes that need doing as well. You want to come over here? I used to really enjoy doing taxes as a living. I did it while I was in school. So I would go in the morning and, work a few hours. I would take stuff home with me. Um, and then I would go to school. I would either have a class or a rehearsal or something. And then in the evening, I would come home, complete the work that I had brought home with me, take it back the next morning and process it and have it ready to go. And, repeat the same cycle day after day after day. Um, there was one year that on, I think it was April 15th, tax day, I hurt my knee. And by golly, I could hardly get around at all. So everyone was not happy. Hey, Delphine. Dana, hey, glad to see you. Dana, where are you now? Last I heard you were like fueling up and doing a live while you were doing that. Anyway, yeah, that was not a good year. Hey, Jessica, stay as long as you can. Weed, California. Isn't that like redundant? Ha! Anyway, yeah. So Dana, what's on your hook right now? If you are indeed hooking. Jessica, also, what's on your hook right now? Oh, you remind me, Dana, actually. Um, the reason that you don't see much of our little 11 or 12-year-old Cocker Spaniel is because he has joint issues and picking him up is painful to him. But just yesterday, I received um, um, a ramp that I had ordered through Facebook Marketplace that you could use for like a sofa or a bed or anything where you want where he could climb up. But just now, as I was thinking about it, I realized that it's still in the box in the car. So I need to go out and get it because the dog's not going to do it for me. Oh, Jessica, you finished your laundry? I have some laundry if you want to do that as well. I have a bunch of laundry, actually. I always wait way too long between times doing laundry. Yeah, Dana, he is poor, a poor sweetie. You can see pictures of him on my Instagram. I haven't shown any recently, but he's just as cute as he ever was. He loves treats. I'll tell you that. He loves his food. He loves going out and rolling in the grass. He, for some reason, likes to eat poop. Have to figure out what's going on there. Um, Jessica, I will give you chocolate. I will not give any dogs chocolate because it's bad for them. Hey, Suzanne, the Swedish Yarny Hooker. Wow, that's quite a name. I don't believe I've met you before. Maybe I have in under a different guise. I don't know. Um. Anyway, yeah, Jessica, I have lots of chocolate over here that I can give you if you'll do my laundry for me. Ha! Actually, I think that's what I'll do once I sign off here. What we used to do when I first started doing this at 2 o'clock on Tuesdays, um, another of our friends was doing a live every Tuesday at 3 o'clock. And so I would send people over there, but she's no longer doing them at 3 o'clock. So sometimes we stay on for hour and a half, 2 hours. We just go as long as the spirit moves us. And that's okay too. But let's oh god. Yeah, yeah. Amy says if all it takes is chocolate, she wishes that Jessica lived closer. I don't know. I do need to drag all of my dirty clothes out and do some things because I had to buy new underwear last week. Ah! Hands up, everyone who's done that before, bought new underwear because you didn't have any clean ones, and you'd rather buy new than wash what you have. Please tell me I'm not the only one. Ooh, back issues are not fun. Dana will do dishes for chicken. I love to cook chicken, Dana, by the way. Oh, Amy. Oh, I haven't even talked about what happens to the laundry after it's done. Usually nothing. It stays in the basket until I use it again. And then it goes in the dirty clothes hamper. I'm Yeah, when I win the lottery, I'll have a house and a maid. The job will be to keep the kitchen and the bathroom clean, to change the linens, to do the laundry, to fold things and put them away. All of those things that I don't want to do. Actually, if that person could also be a file clerk, it would be great as well. Because I have a whole bunch of papers that need filing or something. Probably tossing most of them. So I have awesome plans for when I win the lottery. That should be another topic Tuesday. Is my lottery winnings or my plans for when I win the lottery. Wouldn't that be a great topic Tuesday? Because there are so many questions that opens up. I mean, you just have to assume you would pay off all your debts, you would help out your family and friends who need it and deserve it, and then you would have a surplus. You would put it in creditable hands to manage it for you so that then you would have a steady income and not just have this lump sum sitting in your bank account that feels like it's endless until it's all gone. Because that is the trap that you always hear that lottery winners fall into is that thing about thinking about it. Oh, okay, Amy Long, I'm glad you were here. Bye bye. And bye, Jessica. Glad you were here too. I think I'll add that to my list of potential Topic Tuesday topics. In fact, There you go. I just had to make a note on my spreadsheet or else I would have forgotten it because I have a mind like a sieve. A really cute sieve, but it's a sieve nonetheless. I think that sounds like all good things, Cuppy. Yeah, I would pay off my debts. I would set up my sister so that she would never be in financial want. It's just it's just her and me now, really. Um, I would I don't need a luxury car. I certainly don't need a sports car. I honestly, I'm happy with the car that I have that is still registered to my sister because it belonged to my mom. I'm happy with that car. I don't need to replace it until it itself falls apart, and it's not gonna because it's like 8 years old and has fewer than 20,000 miles on it. But, I don't need a fancy place to live. I need enough space. I need, you know, a reasonable living room, a reasonable bedroom, a reasonable craft room, a kitchen I would enjoy cooking in. But I would also want projects. I've had an idea of having like a yarn van, um, or a yarn shop. And I think that would be so much fun. I would probably lose money out the wazoo for that. But that is why once those essentials were taken care of, my money would be in the hands of professionals, and I would only have an annual or quarterly or monthly allowance, um, because I can't be trusted with money. Mm. Copy. You want something big enough for a yarn haul with your lottery money? You want a Suburban then, don't you? Or a Range Rover? No, I'm a sedan guy. I had a Camry for many, many, many years. It's still running, I'm sure, in somebody else's hands. Right now, I'm driving a Hyundai Sonata. It belonged to my mom. It's registered to my sister because my sister basically got everything when my mom died. That's not a complaint. It's actually better off for me. Um, but, all I need is a sedan. If I need something larger, I can rent something larger, but I don't need anything larger. Oh, copy when you have that vacation home in Tennessee, or even if it's a vacation weekend or whole week, I'll be there. I will be there. You can bet on that. Honestly, that's another big lottery question. If you won, would you move away from where you live today? Hey, Sandy, glad to see you. If you won the lottery, would you move away from where you live today? Hey, Chris, glad to see you too. I haven't seen you in a while. Hey, Petra. Oh, Petra, I know what's going on in your life. Oof, it's a lot. So, we're all thinking about you. My mind changes about whether I would stay here in Wilmington or whether I would relocate. I don't know. Well, of course, we don't know what the future is going to bring. Oh, Petra, I wish I could give you a hug right now. Mm. Yeah. So we're talking about lottery winnings right now. It's a potential future Topic Tuesday topic, but we've gotten onto the topic right now. There you go, Delphine. A basic house where you are now that suits your needs, but also allows you to travel all the time. I like that idea. Now, part of me wants to stay in Wilmington. Hey, Lisa. Hey, Hannah. Part of me wants to stay in Wilmington. Part of me wants to live in Charlotte. And part of me wants to live in the mountains. At one point, part of me still wanted to live in Dallas because I had spent time there. Um, but I don't know about that. I think what I would want, well, the first thing I would do with lottery winnings is set it up so that both my sister and I were financially stable forever and ever until the end of time. The second thing I would do, I would take time to decide. I wouldn't need to decide on anything right away. I would not make any kind of impulse purchases. Um, Although this computer needs replacing, I'll tell you that. Um, if I were to stay in Wilmington, honestly, I would probably, I would keep a home in Wilmington very close to my sister. I would I would have a home in Charlotte close to my friends there, because that's honestly where the region where most of my North Carolina friends are. I would allow myself access to, whether it's an actual permanent home or an occasional vacation home in the mountains of North Carolina, because I love that area as well. Oh, Petra would like a Mountain View lake house and an RV. Oh, how I would love. I used to visit upstate New York every year during the summer. You cannot imagine how beautiful it is. Well, I'm sure you can because every region has its own beauty, but it's so beautiful up there. And I would go to Cooperstown, New York, which most people know as where the Baseball Hall of Fame is, but it's also where the Glimmerglass Music Festival is. And I would go up there and see amazing opera productions by the Glimmerglass um, Festival. And um, I really miss going up there. I haven't been there in probably 5 years now. I really miss going up there every year. And they they liked me there. They did. They they were lovely to me. Uh because I wrote good things about them, but everything I wrote about them was well deserved because they did good work. And if they ever didn't, I was honest about that too. But, uh-oh. Oh, Cuppy, you would keep the homeless shelter and groceries. I think that's a great idea. Another idea I have had in the past is to start a sanctuary for senior rescue dogs. And if I think that my grandfather's estate, well, he died in 68. My grandmother died in 97. It's now in the hands of my aunt. My one uncle bought out the interest of all of his brothers and sisters. So my mother was one of five. My uncle bought out all of their interests, so he was the sole owner. And then he died last year. So it's now in the hands of my aunt. I do not know what is happening with that farmhouse and that land, but it would be perfect for a senior dog sanctuary. But if I were to suddenly have that land, that estate, that house, ooh, I would not know what to do with it. I would not have the funds to do anything with it without like lottery winnings. But if I had the winnings, I might. I don't know whether I would do better to support existing organizations or to start new organizations. Um, because I don't need my name on things. Um, so I think supporting existing organizations would probably be better. Hey, Stephanie. So anyway, yeah, this is going to be a really great new topic for a future topic Tuesday. And of course, we'll probably get started on that one topic and then get diverted by something else completely different, as we always do. And that's the fun of it. So, anyway, here we are. Hey, Susan K. Hey, Hannah. Or Hannah, have you been here and have I greeted you before? I can never remember. Anyway, we're just gonna keep going and doing what we're doing. So, well, everybody, tell me what's on your hook and what's in your cup and all of that standard crap. You know, I've got several whips in progress that I really need to finish. I've got some things that I need to just get ready and publish on Ravelry. But as I've stated, winter is a low energy time for me. So it's not a high production time for me. Um, but at the same time, I always want to have a hook in my hand. Okay, Petra is asking about the difference between Patreon and channel memberships. Actually, in the case of my channel, I'm phasing out Patreon. So don't even think about doing Patreon. Channel memberships, if you click on the link, then you will find out there are different levels. I honestly, I do not pay enough attention to channel members. I do not, uh, normally there are benefits like early access to pre-recorded and scheduled videos, um, discounts to Ravelry, that sort of thing. Lately, I have not been paying enough attention to that sort of thing. But there are different levels of YouTube membership. Now, people talk about the different types of Patreon and YouTube memberships. I used Patreon before I was monetized on YouTube, actually. Um, but I have found that the return on investment is not there, real for me. Lots of other people find it really rewarding. I find I don't have the bandwidth to put enough energy into Patreon on YouTube specific member things. So I don't think it's rewarding to my members. And the dwindling membership numbers I've been seeing reflect that. So I have phased out my Patreon completely, actually. So the only membership I have now is on YouTube. There are different membership levels. If you click the link, you can find out what the benefits are for those levels. And I hope to fulfill those commitments. I can't promise that I'm 100% consistent with that. Hey, Rose. There were no ads. Oh dear Lord, did I not monetize this? Anyway, Shatika, hey, glad to see you. Um, anyway, I thought I had, I'll just have to double check. Hey, Rose. Anyway, that's gonna be first thing on my list is to double check, make sure that everything I have scheduled is gonna be monetized. Okay, Petra, that made sense to you? I mean, a lot of people do very well with Patreon. I have seen people who have gained more Patreon members in a 1 hour live than I had in all of my Patreon, all of my time on Patreon. Um, so it wasn't right for me. So, I mean, even if Google takes out a huge chunk of membership fees and super chats, by the way, are always welcome, or whatever it is that that people want to give. That's why the banner is going across with the PayPal and the Cash App, um, so that we avoid those fees. But you know, it's less trouble than the Patreon. So basically, I am a member of several other people's Patreons, but I canceled my own Patreon membership program. Petra, I'm so glad you were here. I hope your mom is doing well. Hey, Jackie. Well, we have been online here for an hour and a half. And I'm grateful for everybody who has been here the whole time and for everybody who has been here for any amount of the time. I want to thank you all for coming. And as I always say, like, subscribe, comment, share, and keep coming back, especially the subscribe part. But I think it's time for me to call it a day and just get on to doing other things. And thank you so much. I'm really glad you're here, but I'm going to say goodbye now. Bye bye.